5 o'clock. Great to have you with us. I'll give you the rundown of the menu. If you don't like what we're talking about now, Odyssey.com rewind. You can go get whatever the hell you like for the low cost of free. Opened up with the state of college football, which I equate to Vanderbilt's blowing scoreboard hanging from a crane. Arch Manning makes more money than several NFL quarterbacks. I've had enough. We also defended J-Mo at 3. I didn't stutter. I actually feel bad for the kid. But Rico, you have something you want to bring up, and I think it's a fascinating question, and I might be guilty of both, but lay it out for the people, because I actually, the closer the season gets, what you've hit on, I'm questioning both.
Yeah, Mike, we live in the state of Michigan, so there's an inherent hate for certain teams. But when you look at this, because we live in the state of Michigan, are we simply overlooking the Green Bay Packers? You look at what Jordan Love did in the preseason, 21 for 33 for 193 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 INTs, had a QB rating of about 109. Like, he went out there and got it done in the time that he was playing. Now, before you say, well, it's preseason. Well, we didn't see Goff do anything this preseason. It's his team. This could be addition by subtraction. Green Bay is quietly just laying in the weeds, and we've all dismissed them and said, well, Aaron Rodgers left. They can't possibly be any good. They can run the ball. They got a defense. If Love can just go out there and not turn this thing over, they may be the team we're not talking about. The other team, too, is Ohio State in football. It's Michigan. Michigan's going to run away with it. Michigan's knocked off the Buckeyes the last 2 years. But for this, I'm going to rely on you.
Oh, no. Don't do this.
Las Vegas.
No.
Is telling you Ohio State is favored to win the Big Ten, not Michigan.
And I don't understand it.
And Vegas doesn't give away things on a discount.
I know.
But we look at this as, well, Ohio State is dead. Ohio State is finished. Oh, Michigan just owns them.
Who's their quarterback?
Probably McCord.
Okay, my point is no returning starter.
Right.
Look, I'm with you, because in the end, Michigan should be favored because they have one of the biggest fan bases in the country. You limit your liability and you take all their money if they don't get it done. The one I lean towards is I'm sleeping more on Green Bay. I'm more guilty of the Green Bay thing because the point you've made, they have the best roster. Mm-hmm. Like, I believe the Lions are going to win this division, but it's because they don't have the best roster, but they have a settled quarterback situation. They have they have this continuity on the offensive side of the ball. I viewed it with Aaron Rodgers leaving and Jordan Love, who was completely forgotten about, that they just wouldn't get it done. But like what Rico's saying, guys, if you look player for player on a 53-man roster, Green Bay's roster is better than yours.
Yeah. And 248-539-9797, are we just overlooking Green Bay? Are we overlooking Ohio State? Because when you look at Jordan Love, Mike, they actually did things the way you used to do in the NFL when you drafted a player and you groomed him for a couple of years.
It's what they did with Aaron.
Right. And we all thought that after Brett Favre left, oh, Green Bay's going to fall off. Guess what? They didn't.
Here's the recipe. For Green Bay, they're going to play the way they've played the last 2 years, and it's the right move. Pound the rock, play defense. Aaron was a game manager. That works for a young QB.
Right.
For Ohio State, you can't do that. Ohio State's got a new quarterback. And my problem is there is no – okay, this is going to sound insane, but work with me. What has better odds of happening? Jordan Love attaining 75% of what Aaron Rodgers was last year, or what is it, Kyle McCord being 75% of CJ Stroud? I know what answer I'm taking.
Right, but when you look at the Buckeyes, Mike, kind of like Green Bay, they just seem to find quarterback after quarterback.
I know.
They haven't missed yet.
But this particular quarterback was a top 3 pick in the NFL draft. Mm-hmm. Now, Aaron Rodgers last year, I would argue to you, was not a top 10 QB. He was a game manager. They had Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon. We're going to run the football. Rico, I'm just making a point. There are better odds in my world of Green Bay's QB situation being close to what they had versus, I don't care, if Kyle McCord is better than C.J. Stroud, then all of a sudden it changed everything. I don't believe that's even plausible.
No, I guess
in his first year as starter.
I look at McCord because he played with Marvin Harrison Jr., so maybe you get that Peyton Thorne, Jaden Reed type of thing going on.
You cannot invoke the name of Peyton Thorne in this conversation. I will not.
No, I'm saying they have a history together.
If this were a courtroom, I'm yelling objection sustained. I mean, that isn't, you can't, I know.
They have a history together.
I know.
But when you look at this, I just wonder, because we live in this state, did we just write these two teams off?
So here's my question.
They have no shot.
So here's a question for the people. Who are you more afraid that you've overlooked? The Buckeyes or the Packers? Who is the one that deep down you know, and I'm guilty, right here, guilty. You look at it now that the season's approaching, and you go, I may have gone a little too far with that team. Is it the Buckeyes or is it the Packers? You can't say both. If you feel guilty you've overlooked both and you've turned into paranoid fan syndrome, PFS, you still got to pick the one that you feel like you effed up the most. I actually am starting to wonder about the Green Bay Packers. Look, Ohio State has to go to Michigan. Ohio State also has a losable game against Notre Dame. Ohio State has a new quarterback in a system that, frankly, I need to see it to believe it. Mm-hmm. Green Bay plays a style of ball that you can break a new QB in with easier. If you told me Ryan Day was going to line up, they were going to pound the rock, play pass, it's a different concept. But for me, Rico's kind of touched on this, and I can't argue it. You know, Green Bay's got the two-headed monster at running back. They got one of the better O-lines. I think the line O-line is better, but it's a good O-line in Green Bay. And remember, all those first-round picks that Aaron Rodgers was mad they didn't use on offense, they got it on defense. Mm-hmm. You know, Jair Alexander, one of the best corners in the league. They got a good D-line, good pass rush. They got players, man. Mm-hmm. Now, if Quay Walker could stop pushing team trainers and stuff, maybe we hit on something there.
Mistakes were made.
But I look at
Green Bay in a division that I know Detroiters like to think that Detroit's going to run away with this division. This division's wide open.
How dare you?
If it's wide open, why not the Packers? Because here's why I would say Green Bay has a better shot over the Buckeyes for me.
So we have the same answer.
Yeah, because they have a quarterback that's been with the team, knows the system, knows how to go out there. And I do think that Green Bay is going to get a bump, addition by subtraction. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Guys, now we can all play as a team. You're not throwing your wide receiver under the bus because he missed out on a pass. Because that wide receiver turned out to be pretty good.
Well, look, this
and Christian Watts.
I was going to say this could be a year where he's not Amon-Ra and he's not Justin Jefferson, but he could enter a conversation of being a top 15 receiver in this league if he starts this year the way he finished last year. I'm with you. I also love Musgrove, the kid they drafted from Oregon State, but I digress. I'm guilty. It's Green Bay. I feel like Michigan has broken OSU.
I felt the same way, but once again, every time I look at something, it's the Buckeyes to win the Big Ten.
I know. I can't explain it. You're right.
So if you think Michigan's going to do that, Mike, you can make a ton of money.
It's like, why was UTEP only laying 1.5 to Jacksonville State? Yeah, because Jacksonville State came out and beat them.
Yeah.
Rich Rod, he's back. 248-539-9797. Kenny, which team have you overlooked more? Don't say neither. That's not fair. Come on.
I mean, I'm not a Michigan fan by any means, but I think the answer is Ohio State.
But if I'm asking you to be a pundit for a moment about the Big Ten, you don't have to be a fan. You could just say, look, I believe it's this certainty Michigan wins it or a certainty the Lions win it. Have we overlooked these teams?
I think Ohio State would be the one that's being overlooked in this situation, not
Why?
Green Bay.
Let me hear it. Is it because of your experience against them in the playoff?
It is partially because of my experience against them in the playoff. They are a dangerous, built-to-win national title team that just is one piece away from maybe doing that. And Green Bay, I mean, Paul said it back here when we were talking about it. It wouldn't be fair if Jordan Love was good. I don't care if that's not a logical answer, but I can't go in my lifetime as a Lions fan
hold on.
from Favre
This is the
to
nuanced
Rodgers.
conversation. Paul Sarah says Simply put, it just wouldn't be
It
fair, and I
wouldn't
don't
be
want to
fair.
talk about it.
No, I mean, but anyway, I think Aaron Rodgers still kind of was the boogeyman in my mind. And going from Jordan Love, who has no regular season NFL experience,
I
it's a
think
lot.
He started the one game in Kansas City.
It's a lot harder to be good in the NFL than good in the Big Ten.
Okay, but then, Kenny, do you put any credence to the argument I've made where, like, Rodgers had kind of fallen to a level where I thought he was replaceable in Green Bay versus C.J. Stroud was as good of a college quarterback as anyone last year. The idea that the new guy is going to be anywhere near that, but I got a hard time with that.
They got the track record because you had Haskins before that. You had JT before that. I mean, heck, they won the national title with a third-string quarterback. At Ohio State, you
12
can plug
gauge.
and play. Yeah.
And insulated with weapons. Like I said, it's a lot harder to be good in the NFL than the Big Ten.
248-539-9797. We will get to your calls and ticket text next. 97.1.